Wrapping up the top 10 events that really shook the Afrobeats industry this year of 2023. People ask me where I get all my energy from the stage to the studio and to my desk. I am the energy god, and you can be one too.
You're listening to Adeshokbe Live, the Afrobeats podcast.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to this special edition of Adeshokbe Live, the official Afrobeats podcast, wrapping up the top 10 events that really shook the Afrobeats industry this year of 2023. As always, this is brought to you by the Energy God Energy Drink. Drink and be yourself. Stay energized and refreshed. You know, this is for us, by us. You can make sure you support us. Go out there and check it out, energygod.com. That's GAWD.com. And we are live from the Afromedia Studios in London. A big support system to the Afrobeats podcast for the last 3 years. So I want to take this moment to give a special shout out to the entire Afromedia team. Shay, the producer and cameraman, the executive producer, Kola. This is the family atmosphere. This is one of the reasons why we've done this successfully and consistently for the last 3 years. I want to big up my brother LM as well, LM System, LM Media, responsible for the digital output of Afrobeats podcasts and supporting this platform, ensuring that the interviews go out there and touches the rest of the world, and we promote our culture the way nobody else will promote us. So thank you to the team, and most especially to the viewers, the fans, the subscribers. We appreciate every single subscription, like, comment, sharing. We appreciate every single one. Because of that, this podcast has been consistent over the last couple of years. We've reached so many people than we ever dreamed to reach. We have so many subscriptions. It's just mind-blowing. Thank you very much for these subscriptions. We need them. Keep them coming. The bigger we get, the better we're positioned to promote our own culture without waiting for anybody else to promote us. Now we're going to get into the order of today. Today, this episode is a special one because we're looking at top 10 events that has impacted the Afrobeats culture, the Afropop culture in 2023, that has taken us to the next level or either affected us in such a way that caught attention around the world. This was created by myself. I also put out, polls through my social media that got incredible engagement, by the way. Shout outs to the people following me on social media at @Shopsy, Instagram, Twitter. Hit me up. I appreciate the support there, especially coming from a social media page that was disabled over 12 months ago. And we managed to quadruple our following in less than 12 months. That's not down to me. That's down to the support that you guys have shown me and my platform. So, without further ado, I'm going to count down these top 10 moments. And after then, I will give a special shout outs to a few special mentions outside of the top 10 that deserve to be highlighted as well. In the number 10 position is a queen of our vocals on the microphone and celebrate Afrobeats, on a stage that possibly we wouldn't have been on, 10, 20, 50, years ago. Tiwa Savage was very glamorous. She represented us in a way that made everybody proud. Every single person and their family members celebrated that moment, shared it on social media. There was all people had their opinions about it. Oh, should we be performing for the royal family, who historically has had a negative impact on Africa and slavery, and all those conversations have been there. But in my opinion, a fantastic moment for us that definitely highlighted our genre, the growth in our entertainment industry, and put a massive spotlight on some of the brightest stars of our culture in the last decade. At number 10 is Queen Tiwa Savage at the coronation. At number 9 comes one of the biggest Afrobeats artists of the last 10 years, or one of the biggest African musicians of the last 40 years. He goes by the name. It was an emotional moment to have a performer during the halftime show be one of the biggest of our culture, performing hit records that the entire world knows, celebrating African heritage and his Nigerian lineage like we've never seen before on the biggest stage, arguably in the world. Burna Boy, in my opinion, has to be the biggest artist in the world in 2023. His achievements with the album sales, with the tours and the stadium performances are unmatched, and him popping up during the Champions League halftime show has to be given a lot of kudos. And shout out goes to Burna Boy in the number 9 position. In the number 8 position is a tragic event that shook the Afrobeats industry and the Afropop world around the world, caught attention not only within Africa, Europe, and the United States of America. It is the sad loss of the young, talented, and gifted musician by the name Mohbad. The death, still shrouded in controversy, hit the entire music industry as like a ton of bricks. We didn't know what happened. Nobody still to tomorrow can tell you what really happened. But this is a rising star who has caught attention in the last 2 or 3 years, whose lyrics has also been very prophetic. His vocals being a very sensitive and emotional type of sound, and the history around him, his record label, especially in the last 12 months, has also caught the attention of the headlines. And sadly, his untimely loss, not knowing exactly what happened to him, raised a movement around the world like we've ever seen before, where people were demanding justice for this young man, from Nigeria to Ghana to London to Canada to the United States of America. International celebrities tweeting their support for investigations to positively, or to just give us what happened to the man. And I think it would be a disservice to this culture if we didn't mention his name, the sad loss, and what the ripple effect was on the industry, how it's affected his record label and his colleagues, how it affected his friends and family, what played out in social media with regards to his, autopsy, the allegations, the blatant lies, that all the stories that just came out around this loss was very impactful on our culture. And the Mohbad's loss made the number 8 spot. In number 7 is one that also shocked a lot of people positively in the UK, most especially, is a Congolese superstar by the name of Fally Ipupa, who has been at the top of the food chain of Francophone music for nearly 2 decades, but has never had a performance in London, England. He has broken records in places like France, where he performed at a 40,000 capacity stadium, selling that out. But the London show has always had its controversies with stories about sections of the media or sections of the public not allowing him to perform internationally, particularly in London. And in December 2023, he held his first London headline show without a popular record in the playlist in the UK, or popular record in the charts, or being one of the fan favorites, playing on all the DJs, but managed to sell 9,000 tickets in London as a Francophone artist in an Anglophone country, doing those type of numbers. Shifted the lenses and the spotlight away from the Anglophone artists and onto the damage that the Francophone side of Africa can do. The popularity of the French-speaking artists and how big of a superstar Fally Ipupa is. I think that moment, in my opinion, deserves a massive mention and made it into the top 10 Afro-pop culture, Afrobeats culture moments of 2023 in number 7. Number 6 is the highly anticipated return of a king of Afrobeats by the name Davido, a.k.a. OBO, a.k.a. the baddest. 2022 closed out in a very sensitive manner with Davido's album being put on hold, and nobody knew when it was going to return to music. He popped up briefly at the World Cup in 2022 December, and then went back and finally showed up in March and April with the album release for the Timeless album, and then went on an incredible promo run, which saw him showing up on platforms like CNN and the rest of the world and the Afrobeats podcast. That return was heralded worldwide, celebrated by fans across the aisle, leading to Davido delivering one of the most anticipated albums of 2023 and one of the biggest records in Unavailable. Davido's comeback and splash in the culture, in my opinion, deserves a top 10 spot. And I'm very, very happy to say that he made it in the number 6 position. In number 5 is a moment that also shaped the entire world, where the NBA All-Star Weekend had a huge celebration of African music, and during the intermission had Burna Boy, Rema, and Thames performing huge records to a global audience, celebrating African music, Afrobeats, and Afro-pop like we've never seen before. The NBA All-Star Weekend is the biggest weekend in NBA calendar. And having been there in 2014 when they were trying to celebrate African music in the back quarters in New Orleans, shout out to NBA Africa and their team, having that vision that ultimately materialized almost a decade later with Burna Boy, Thames, and Rema performing big records, not only in the arena, but televised worldwide. That made the number 5 spot in the top 10. Number 4 is a performance in Miami that shook the Afrobeats industry. It is by the king Wizkid, where he performed at the Afro Nation Miami, the first installment of Afro Nation in Miami, United States of America, with Wizkid bringing down the curtains in such fantastic fashion. The stage setup was incredible. The screen was amazing. He's coming out on stage at the top of the chain, just top of the steps, was brilliant. His outfit was raking superstardom. And what he delivered on that night, having watched other performers like, Burna Boy and others, Wizkid really turned the heat up in Miami. That performance was memorable, was incredible, was emotional, was impactful. Afro Nation had taken over Miami. Afrobeats was being played on the radio 24/7. And to have one of his biggest stars, and arguably one of the stars that broke the door in America, collaborating with the likes of Drake and having those hit records, perform the way he did, closing out the Afro Nation Miami, that was a fantastic moment. And that was also, that was voted by the people, and that made the number 4 spot in the top 10. Number 3 spot goes to the young stunner by the name Rema. This young bull has completely changed the face of Afrobeats, now having the most streamed record in Afrobeats history on Spotify with over 1 billion streams. Was introduced to us in 2019, and of 2023, picking up international awards, most especially touring India. Rema became the first Afrobeats Afropop star to tour India, 3 big cities, to sell out shows of thousands of fans turning up to watch an Afrobeat star in India. The press, paparazzi, following him to restaurants, him performing on the biggest television show in India. That, in my opinion, deserves a top 3 spot on the top 10 Afrobeats moments of 2023. Shout outs to Rema and his team. In number 2, again comes this man by the name Burna Boy, the African giant. He's had a lot of moments this year, performing in Berlin, 20,000 capacity, performing in New York, at the baseball stadium, 40,000, LA, Atlanta, Houston, but none bigger than the London Stadium. The 60,000 capacity London Stadium, Burna Boy headlining to that number of people is something of dreams. Having been in this culture for close to 2 decades now, celebrating the moment this iconic has to be put in history as a moment that we'll look back on as an African artist, an Afrobeats artist, an Afropop artist, headlining at a stadium, 60,000 in London. Brother, that deserves not only the top 2 spot, a clap, a hat off, and just a massive congratulations to Burna Boy, his continuous effort and impact on the culture, and to his entire team who are putting this together and believing that some of these doors that we never thought we could reach could not only be touched, but be broken down. Shout outs to Burna Boy. London Stadium performance in the number 2 spot. In the number 1 spot is, drum roll, Ashake the Dragon, headlining at the O2 Arena, selling the O2 Arena out just 8 months after 3 nights sold out at the Brixton Academy in London. Ashake coming back to the O2 Arena after the sad and controversial way his 3 nights residency at the Brixton Academy ended in December 2022. That was a bold move. Bold move. He dropped a new album and he went for the 20,000 monster. And guess what? He did it with aplomb. There was no ticket available despite the security risks, security concerns, the restraints they put on it. You can't pass, you can't forward any tickets onto somebody else. You can't do this. He couldn't get on stage until 80% of the capacity of the venue was in the building. He had so many things working against him. But not only did he sell that arena out, he gave an incredible performance that was worthy of the number 1 position of the most impactful Afrobeats moments of 2023. He's gone on to sell out the Barclays Arena in New York City. He's gone on to headline festivals in Germany, headline festivals in Rotterdam. You know, this brother has gone on to do incredible stuff, have hit records that's one of the most big, get a Grammy nomination in 2023. But for me, his most impactful moment is Ashake, whose 80% lyrics in Yoruba, of his music is in Yoruba lyrics, sold out at the O2 Arena. Big shout outs to the Dragon Ashake and his entire team. And that wraps up the top 10 moments of Afrobeats in 2023. 10, Tiwa Savage at the coronation. 9, Burna Boy Champions League performance. 8, Mohbad death. 7, Fally Ipupa live in London. 6, Davido album return. 5, Burna Boy Thames and Rema at the NBA All-Star Weekend. 4, Wizkid Afro Nation performance. 3, Rema India tour. 2, Burna Boy London Stadium. And in number 1 is Ashake the Dragon selling out the O2 Arena and absolutely smashing the performance. Before we go, I'd like to just give a special shout outs, special mention to a couple of other moments and people that did incredible within the Afropop culture in 2023. Flavor Nabanya, 2 nights sold in London, Coco Camden. Ira Star selling out the first Afrobeats sellout concert in Madrid. Tyler, the hit record Water, Yemi Alade selling out the first Afrobeats artist in Tunisia. Ruga, first Afrobeat sellout in Israel. Sarkodie, 2 nights at the Outer Net alongside the composers. Speaking about the composers again, selling out the Royal Albert Hall in London. Angelique Kidjo, the Royal Albert Hall in London. Rema, Calm Down, shutting down all records of Afrobeats. The Calm Down remix with Selena Gomez absolutely shut it down. The first Afrobeats record to cross the Billy mark on Spotify. King Promise, the hit single Terminator, and the dance move, and how everybody around the world and their mother was doing that. Odumodu Black, out of Abuja, Declan Rice, shutting it down and becoming a phenom in the Afrobeats, Afropop world. Shout outs to Odumodu Black. DJs, Uncle Waffles, TXC, super producer, DJ Maporisa, his partner, Kabza the Small, the Imp Kabza the Small, impact on Amapiano in 2023, the fastest growing Afro pop genre from Africa. Big kudos goes to the founders, Kabza the Small and his partner, DJ Maporisa. Show Them Camp, my favorite rap duo in Africa, touring the United States of America, having their first New York headline show, big show outside in Central Park, having a successful concert in London, Lagos, and touring New Zealand. Big shout outs to Show Them Camp. Charlie Poppy, Phenom, Breakout Star, Streets, Sheyi Vibes, Streets, Black Bones, and Black Sheriff. Those deserve special mentions. 2023 has been a blessing to us, and we cannot wait for what 2024 is about to bring. Once again, thank you very much for the support. Joining us on this special edition of the special moments in Afrobeats and Afropop culture in 2023. Until 2024, Happy New Year. Peace, and we out.
The Afrobeats